Welcome back to the Aces NBA show. A little bit later, it's 10 p.m. because we've dissected Game 3. We needed to spend a little bit more time on the box scores. Green has been training hard, of course, but the Spurs have got it done on the road at Madison Square Garden. New York was going to be lit up, and they've just ruined the party. But we wanted them to win. We want this series going to 7. We want as much basketball as we can get. I must introduce our special guest. Tom Green is joining us to break down Game 3 and preview Game 4. How are you, Greener?
I'm fantastic trainer. Yeah, hard at work today, but I managed to catch the game as well in between sets, making sure I had the eyes on the TVs. And it was must watch. I mean, it went right down to the wire. It was one of those finals games we absolutely love to see. And I think for the betterment of the series, as you said, the Spurs got it done in the end. Wemby responded in a big way. He was massive from the outset, started 4 or 4 from the field. That's that aggressive Wemby that we like to see. And it was on go from there. It was a fantastic game. New York really turned up. And it was close down to the wire. Brunson hitting some big shots. OG Anunoby really couldn't miss all game. And then Steph Castle with a big three and some big free throws down the stretch. And it was game over. So it's going to be a great series, mate. I still think the Knicks have got the advantage, but it's what we wanted. We want to see the Spurs probably win the next game, don't we? We want to see it go right down to the wire.
I kind of wouldn't mind Knicks winning the next one, then Spurs win that next one, and then we get to Game 6 at Madison Square, and Knicks in 6 just rhymes. Like, I said it after they won the first game. Everyone was, then when they won the second one, they're like, Knicks in 4. I went, Knicks in 6. It's something that when you do a documentary, Knicks in 6, it just feels right, Greener. Anyway, we shouldn't be talking about that. Let's talk about the game. In case you missed it, it was the Spurs that come out the blocks early. Like you said, Wemby, alley-oops, he attacked the paint. I can't get more excited about Harper and Castle and how they just go downhill. And a few of their role players like Keldon Johnson, who we said's been non-existent, he come on and actually scored. You had a 3 there from Bryant. I just thought the benches from both teams have been elite. We'll talk about them soon. But the Knicks fired back in the second. They put up 42-24 and ended up hitting the lead. What were you thinking at halftime?
Yeah, I was thinking that it's going to be impressive by the Spurs if they can dig themselves out of this hole, but they are a really resilient young team. We've seen what they've done so far in these playoffs, and they don't really, you can't really throw a knockout punch at either of these teams, honestly, at the minute. And I think the Spurs in particular, you've got to beat them they talk about teams, right? Like, you've got to beat some teams numerous times in a game to actually beat them. The Spurs are like that. You've got to beat them about 4 times before you actually get a win. So they're not going to go out of any game or the series really easily. And yeah, provided some great entertainment today. It was interesting to see actually Jordan Clarkson, I thought, get some minutes off the bench. We know what he can do in terms of scoring the ball, but he saw his first action of these finals, and I think there was something there for the Knicks going forward.
They're like pop-up sprinklers, the New York Knicks bench. You just don't know who's going to be the guy. Shamet was a bit woeful from downtown, 1 from 7 from the three-pointer this game in Game 3. He's been Mr. Reliable, and like you said, I don't think Clarkson's found the court. The other player that really rattled me was Bridges. I think we gave him too much praise in Game 1s and 2. He went missing, got in foul trouble early. Your man, Cat, he wasn't really the Cat that was the MVP that you were talking about. I can't speak more highly of Brunson down the clutch. He doesn't. I don't know what it is, but he just doesn't miss late. That 3 to get him back within 3 late, I couldn't believe he hit that. And they just kept answering the Spurs. It was, you know what? I was sitting on the couch just smiling, going, this is quality basketball. There's just blokes standing up. Even Fox. He's probably the most out of form Fox I've seen for the last 2 or 3 years. But then he just hits this clutch shot late, and it's like a dagger to the whole city. He might, if he gets going, I'll be looking at you and asking you the questions. Maybe Spurs are back on top. If they can steal Game 4 and Fox isn't playing well, you would be shitting yourself if you're a Knicks fan because looking at he's 4 from 14. He had great looks. He needs to stay aggressive. I feel like he's got to keep having a crack because it will turn. But he's not the Fox that as I said, the Sacramento Kings Fox. He was like the Brunson for the Knicks. He was always clutch down the stretch. He would hit his threes. I don't know what he was from 3. There, 0 from 5 from downtown. He just can't find anything at the moment. Did you notice that today?
Yeah, the thing about Fox is I feel like we sort of said the other day, he's still just trying to find his way into this offense. I mean, if you look at his points per game. He was sort of like a 25 point per game scorer at the Kings as like a one out option. And then as soon as he got traded last year to the Spurs, that's dropped to about 18, which is where he's sitting at for this season too. So he's clearly, takes on a little bit of a lesser role with the Spurs in terms of scoring the basketball than he did at the Kings. But I think he's still just trying to find his moments. So you're right, he's always been a really clutch player. I think he might have won the initial clutch player of the year, and he's definitely won one at least. So we know what he can do in the clutch, and he still seems to have those clutch moments. It's kind of funny. You say no matter what Brunson's doing, he comes up big in the clutch. Fox is kind of similar, I feel. I feel like he always makes good reads down the clutch. It's just like for the first 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters, can we get more production out of him? So I think he needs to figure that out still, but he always comes up when it matters. And I feel like that is, finals in any sport, but particularly in basketball, you can be out of form all game and all series, but when your moment comes, can you stand up? And he has so far. So I think if he finds form, the Spurs are really going to run away with it. To be honest, I think that's where they'll be able to push right ahead. But you're right, Mikal Bridges. For the Knicks, he was no good today. I think Cat shot the ball poorly, didn't play his best game. He's still some of his defense on Wemby is incredible. I think this is the best sort of stretch of defense I've ever seen Karl Anthony Towns play. So if he keeps bringing that all series, it's going to be go a long way for the Knicks. But you're completely right. If the Spurs win the next game at Madison Square Garden, they're back to 2-2 with home court advantage. It's seriously series on. I mean, it's probably going to go 7 after that. So we'll have to wait and see.
I'm not sure what Wemby was drawing out there in the park, but he needs to get the book back out and draw up some more whatever he's drawing because it worked a treat. He's
Mm.
found himself mentally. I'm watching that Nadal documentary. He talks about why he lost Wimbledon in '07. He ends up winning '08 because he lost his mind late. It seemed like Wemby was locked in and he wasn't phased. What about when he shoved Brunson to the ground like get down there you
Yeah.
little bitch and he just started smiling. I must say, if I'm Mike Brown and the officiating is just random. I think I said it last podcast. It's honestly like a UFC grapple out there. You can do whatever you want. They're calling fouls. It's so inconsistent. You watch. There's going to be a game that comes around soon where they're just calling ticky-tacky fouls, and we're like, hang on, you let it go. And by the way, I don't mind it being physical, but it's starting to get to the point. I think it was Castle before the half, he might have went downhill and he just got slapped and bashed. He still hit it and he's looking at the ref like, how is that not a foul? You know what I mean? Like the refs
Yeah.
have put the whistles away.
No, you called it last pod and you've nailed it because let's be real, as much as we love seeing a physical contest, that sort of altercation there with Brunson and Wemby, that should have been a flagrant foul. Like you can't grab someone by the neck and throw them to the ground, which even though it makes it some funny viewing, you can't actually you can't do that. So now you've been red hot on the officiating, and I think Mike Brown even said that in his post game presser. I think maybe the Spurs shot 24 free throws in the second half, and maybe the Knicks only shot 8. So with a discrepancy like that, it doesn't really make that much sense. I mean, you see when you got guys attacking the basket like Castle, Wemby, and Dylan Harper do, why they end up shooting free throws, but a discrepancy of that big is probably not the answer. So you're right. The next game, maybe there'll be a few early foul calls where the refs try and say this is how we're officiating it, and I want to keep it a little bit less physical, not as much grappling and wrestling, but it's made for a good physical series, and I'm really liking it so far.
Well said on Carl Anthony Towns. What do you have? The 2 blocks, 3 steals. He's been big on the boards. He's really aggressive when he scores. I know you said he didn't have the best shooting night. He was 0 from 2 from downtown, but 4 from 10. He didn't. I didn't think he was that aggressive tonight. I must say, like after you've come out and given him the MVP, I reflected on
Hey,
it. I went to our friends at PointsBet. I had a look. He's $3 in the market. Brunson was 2. So I was like, you know what? Green is onto something here. I like it. It's a great call. But we knew Wemby was going to be aggressive and a lot of alley oops early. I think he had about 3 alley oops in a row and he was just at the ring, which is exactly what we said. You've got to get in the paint. And we also said you've got to make Brunson defend. He found himself in foul trouble, even though he only played 35 minutes, still scored 32 points. Geez, he's a weapon offensively. But I just thought, Greener, I'd love to get your take on what Karl Anthony Towns needs to do next game because I don't think he was aggressive offensively.
no, you're right. I mean, again, I actually think if you looked early in the game, like when he starts again sort of scoring the ball early, then he's in the game, his shots dropping, and he starts playmaking from there when he catches it in the high post and sort of finds his teammates on cuts and in different spots. But I thought he went into that playmaking game style a little bit too quickly today, and it's why he only ends up. I mean, the reality is a guy, he's the second leading scorer on the team. He needs to take more than 10 shots, and he can say, maybe I thought I was finding people in better spots, but when he gets the ball and he gets downhill and he starts scoring, good things happen for them generally. And I don't think he was quite aggressive enough, in that game. So I think he needs to look for his shot a little bit more early, then go into that playmaking that opens things up for everyone else. And people end up getting better quality looks because they've got to play tighter defense on him. But yeah, I mean, I think up until this game, he was up there for Finals MVP. It's just that when you have a bad game like that, the odds look a bit different. But if he has a good game next game, he'll be right back there. So his defense has been massive. His rebounding is obviously super important. Just needs to make sure that he stays aggressive with his offense and then starts playmaking from there.
Well said, mate. Well said. I want to talk about Josh Hart. Is he just what you want? Like I mean, I love him. I think he is everything that a good team needs. I don't know what you've got. I don't know if you got a Josh Hart at the Giants. We'll stick to basketball, but geez, you got to love him, don't you? He's just everything you want on a basketball side. The way he rebounds, the way he is with his teammates. He's obviously hitting the threes. I feel like he's a real at-home three-point shooter, if you know what I mean. On the road, I don't
Yeah,
like him
yeah.
shooting the deep ball, but
Oh,
at home, I feel like he's a bit more relaxed. And I mean, what did he go, 4 from 7 today? He just couldn't miss. I was like, well, this bloke's on fire.
yeah. No, you're 100% right. He's one of those guys. Like, I'd love to see the stats on it, but it feels like in Madison Square Garden, he shoots about 60% from three, and he shoots about 12% on the road. Like, seriously, the crowd just wheels the ball in for him. Honestly, it's ridiculous. But his rebounding is great. He does all the little dirty, when I say the dirty stuff, like he does the nitty, the gritty. He gets it done, defends hard. And I think it was game one, maybe he scored 3 points, but he had like 15 rebounds and influenced the game in every single other way. And he's one of those players. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. He's such a good player when he's scoring the ball, but even when he's not, he's impacting the game in so many different ways. So yeah, he had a fantastic one. The other one I want to say for the Spurs, who finally, I suppose his scoring volume went up a little bit, but that was Steph Castle. I just thought he's still like some of his finishing around the rim. If you look at, I mean, when he's on, it's really, really good, like today. And then there'll be other games where he'll get similar looks, and because he does, he has like the slow deceleration Euro steps and sort of stutter steps, and then finishes through some contact. When those are dropping, like today they were, he looks really, really good. And there's other games where they weren't. So I think he's a young player. He's going to keep working on that, finishing through that contact as he keeps getting bigger and stronger. And it hasn't quite dropped so far, but it did today, and we looked at how important that was. And the other thing that, I mean, we're talking about long-term fixes here, but like with Dylan Harper and Steph Castle, all they need to do this offseason is shoot three-pointers. Like once their outside shot drops consistently, the Spurs are going to be so much better. You see Castle hits that dagger three at the end, and I suppose how much it opens up the floor on the offense for the Spurs when teams have got to defend their outside shots. So yeah, I thought Castle was really, really good today, along with Josh Hart, as we said.
Dylan Harper, 1 from 8. Might need to
Mm.
might need to put that back and start passing that around to his man Champagne Showers, old Champagne. He normally smokes them from downtown. But you are spot on. Stephen Castle, I was saying Castle, whatever you want to call it. He was the king of the castle tonight. He was doing everything. You know what I love about him? He's just aggressive, but he hasn't had the three ball going, but that three he hit late to put him up by 7, I reckon that was the dagger. And then when they got going again, and Brunson somehow got him back within 3, I think OG might have hit a corner 3 as well. I can't remember. It's been a few hours since, but there was 2 clutch threes for me from the Spurs, and one was the king of the castle from downtown, which I was like, what? Like he hasn't hit a 3 all series. And then Fox with his little jumper that he hasn't hit all series either. They were really clutch late. I'm stoked the Spurs are back in it. I think Charles Barkley had a few comments at halftime. It was around Cardi B's. He should be called Cardi D's. I love that. But I also thought he said that it's all over. Knicks have won. I don't think anyone's clipped that up. But Charles, you can't go the early crow, son. You got to let 4 quarters play out. So that's a big no-no, Greener. You can't be going the early crow and calling Cardi B, Cardi D, can you, on live television?
No, you certainly can't. And I think these teams are too evenly matched, and they've come too far to give it up that easily. So no, I'm certainly not going any early crows on any calls about this series.
I've hardly talked about Wemby, but he's just a freak. Hey, let's go to the Aces. We had a few people reach out. We're loving all the support. Keep it up. NBA Final Show with Tommy Green. Let's get a few responses here, and I'll ask you. So Adam Frizzy, he's gone officiating is a joke. Robinson gets a tech. Brunson gets thrown to the ground, play on. What the fuck? Um, we spoke about that. Jordan Joseph, 11. Spurs to repeat what Miami did in '06 and close it in six, Greener. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, it's a big call. I mean, Dwayne Wade had one of the all-time final series. That 2006 Dwayne Wade Finals MVP run was sort of, I suppose, the coming of age of D Wade, and he was obviously drafted really highly and a fantastic player before that. But the way that he was able to turn around, I think if you go and look at his last four games of that series, he was unbelievable. It was one of the best, I suppose, single-handed, playoff and finals runs of all time. So, I mean, maybe we'll see something like that. Wemby sort of started that off today, and he had help in his sidekick Steph Castle. So, I mean, I could see it. I did say Spurs in six. I led with Spurs in six, and that's still alive. But they've got a lot of work to do still. I mean, Madison Square Garden's a tough place to play, so we'll wait and see on that. But yeah, it could be a big run. It could be a seriously big run like that, and I'd be happy to make sure my prediction hits.
No, I don't think that can happen. I mean, well, if it does, Mikal Bridges will be crawling up into a ball. It can't happen
uh,
again, can it? It can't happen again.
uh,
Archer Blum says no one wins a home game and Spurs win it. Can you imagine that?
that would be ridiculous. That would be well. I
I
mean,
don't.
the thing
I
is, if
don't
no one
think
was
that's possible though.
no, I was going to say it's not. They must win Game 7. He must be talking about. But if he's saying that it goes up until that point, everyone's winning away. That would be insane.
Yeah, that is crazy. Aaron Spur. Fox plays like he's playing against Wemby. Needs more rim pressure with just Cat down low.
Yeah, the thing is, yeah, this is what people have been a bit critical of Fox with that, and we want to see him get aggressive, but people are forgetting he's coming off that ankle injury. I feel. I mean, this is a guy who relies a lot on his quick first step and his explosiveness. And I suppose that's what people want to see out of him. Like, he was renowned for that at Sacramento, and he's still certainly got that in his bag. But he tweaked his ankle really badly, and there's been times where he will slightly tweak it, or he's clearly not at 100%. And I mean, you know how it goes, Tommy. I mean, even in AFL, which we don't have to get into, but long seasons and an 82 game season in the NBA, then with all the playoff series that you play, they've just had a massive slog out with the Thunder. Like, no one's at 100% this time of year. And so I think for a guy who relies on his quick first step a lot, we're probably not seeing as much aggressive rim pressure as he can possibly bring. But that's why he's still good enough to get into the mid range and, like you said, hit a clutch shot like that, and he can still operate in that area. But I think it's particularly earlier in the game is when people want to see that rim pressure, which I don't know if we're going to get to see out of with how his ankle is at the minute, but we can only hope.
Clayton Jolly. Knicks role players win them the chip.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the thing they say about these sort of things is it's like, does your superstar get you over the line, or is the thing that superstars are always going to play as well as they can, and it's about those guys on their around and their support cast, how well are they going to back you up? So Mikal Bridges scoring 2 points today. He certainly let the Knicks down. He did them absolutely no favors, but OG only missing four shots, whatever it was. I suppose makes up for that a little bit. But yeah, when we get a little bit more, Dill Harper played well, Steph Castle played well. You get the other guys playing well for the Spurs. We end up seeing what they can do. So that was just a more all round performance, I think, for the Spurs. And if the Knicks are going to do it, they probably need similar.
It's a crazy game, Greener. We had our multi on. We always do, and the blokes like Towns and Bridges can't score, and they still put up 111. It was just points all randomly spread out. OG, Hart, Brunson, they almost scored all of it, just those three combined
Mm,
with Clarkson there. So I want to ask you, as we look to game 4, you tell me, you've been on the money, by the way. You said Johnson. Did he score a lot? No, he scored 7, but his line was 6.5, so that went over. So that's correct. But he missed a lot of easy ones. So that was spot on. He picked up his game, and so did a
mm.
few other role players. Where do you see the improvements, the adjustments for game 4?
Well, I think the big adjustment that needs to happen is I think the Knicks need to stop putting as much emphasis on Jalen Brunson bringing the ball up. So we talked about as well Jalen Brunson, and he's shot the ball in efficiently so far in this series, which again is going to happen. But when you can throw Dill Harper, Steph Castle, Carter Bryant, these guys at him over and over again, not only does it make his shots more difficult, but it also means that if you look at, I suppose, the amount of time it gives the Knicks to get in their offense, when it takes you, the full 8 seconds to get it over half court, and before they can even start running a set, there's 10, 12 seconds gone on the shot clock. It means that you're not getting quality looks every time, and that wears Brunson down over the course of 48 minutes, just being able to throw these, junkyard dogs at him over and over and over again. So I think an adjustment the Knicks need to make if they want to flow into their offense a little bit better and not rely on, OG Anunoby shooting the hell out of the ball and Jalen Brunson having to come up massive for them in the clutch. If they want more consistent offense, I think they need to stop having Jalen Brunson bring the ball up as much. Maybe give some of that responsibility to Josh Hart. OG Anunoby's a big body. He can bring the ball up a little bit. I don't know if you want Cat necessarily handling it, but you've got these other guys, maybe some Juice McBride as well. Like, get these guys bringing the ball up, keep Brunson a little bit fresher, and he can get into some off-ball action a little bit quicker. So that would be my adjustment for the Knicks.
Even Alvarado hasn't he been just explosive?
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be a good story. It's going to be a great story when if the Knicks can get it done. All these players that have come from other sides and playing a fair dinkum role.
Yeah, yeah, no, you're 100% right. He's another one who's been really good. He's a New York native as well, which a lot has been made. I think he's from Brooklyn, so he's really playing for the jersey. He's another one who can bring the ball up. I think I suppose there's no real, when I say adjustment, I don't think for the Spurs going to the next game. I think today showed the blueprint. An early and aggressive Wemby, good things are going to happen. It starts opening up the rest of the floor for everyone else as well. If Steph Castle stays aggressive and finishes his shots at the rim and starts to get a few to drop from outside, that's exactly what happens as well. We saw Dill Harper put OG on a big poster as well, and we know what he can do at the rim, but he goes 1 of 8 from three. Let's say he goes 3 of 8 or 4 of 8. They've got to start respecting his jump shot a little bit more, continues to open things up. So I think if Steph Castle can come up like that, Keldon Johnson continues to get him involved. I still think you're right. He only just went over, but I think there's still room for Keldon Johnson to come in and really impact the game a little bit more too. So get a bit more out of him and have Wemby get aggressive early. I think that's how the Spurs keep winning.
Love it. Well, I'll give you my tip. I think Bridges bounces back. He'll be dirty on himself, leaving for foul trouble. I think he'll be aggressive early. I also think I'm going to back Fox again. He ends up finishing the game, I think 12 points, but just felt like he got going really late and he was aggressive. And I don't mind them being aggressive. Like we spoke about when the Thunder lost and Chet wasn't being aggressive at all because he didn't
Yeah,
shoot. We would take the Hardens of the world that are going to be aggressive. So I'm
definitely.
looking at I'm looking at those two, but I think Carl Anthony Towns will be a bit flat that he wasn't in the post, putting more pressure on. I understand that Wemby's got the long arms and he'll probably block you, but test him early. Can you get him? Can you get a couple of cheap fouls? We know the refs are going to be hot on it. Mike Brown wasn't doing that press conference for no reason. You don't throw out all that shade towards the refs if you aren't tactically trying to say something. He's definitely put them on the radar to say, hey, start calling them from the start of the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go downhill and attack Wemby and play a little bit faster, whether it's Hart, Bridges, all of them getting downhill. I just think Towns needs to start stronger, and I'm looking for first quarter. I think whoever wins the first quarter, they'll win the game. I really want to see someone start well, and I thought the Knicks were off. You know what? I think the occasion got the better of them. Everyone in town, $10,000
Mm.
for the worst seat in the house,
Yeah,
Trump's in the house, celebrities everywhere. They just started a bit slow. And I reckon the Spurs were like, we've got nothing to lose because we're already, two down. So
yeah.
I think the first quarter for me is where I'm looking, Greener.
Yeah, no, it's a good call. I like that. I mean, the Spurs did jump them at the start, and it felt like New York were on the back foot a little bit from there. But yeah, I mean, you'd like to think MSG, the crowd, when I say you'd like to, you just feel like it's going to get them up and about for the next game. So I think it's not a bad call, Tommy. However that first quarter goes, could determine the game. But they're both teams. You can't discount them. You got to beat them a few times. So it should be a tight game. But I think I'm just going to edge the Spurs again, mate. I want my prediction to be right.
Hey, that's all right. That means it's going to 6 or 7, which we love, which we certainly love. And let's hope the refs call it. Otherwise, it'll look like the longest yard when Adam Sandler had to play that pickup game to recruit all the wide receivers and all the boys. You know what I'm talking about? When he just got smoked, losing tooth and nails and everything. So let's just make sure we call the fouls and stay aggressive,
Mm.
umpies and refs, because that was a disgrace. Well, Greener, you've been on fire. I've got to ask you, mate, before we go. I've heard the Giants have rolled out the red carpet and thrown 30 million down your throat for 10 years or something. Can you just give us a little exclusive on the NBA show at 10:30?
I don't think it's quite that far, but yeah, it's a bit to wait up late, isn't it, Tommy? It's 10:30, mate. What are we doing? We're talking NBA here.
You know what, Greener? Save it. Just save it. We'll wait for game 7 if the Spurs get up. You can give them an exclusive. Thank you to everyone that's tuned into the Aces NBA show with Tommy Green, the king, who is breaking down all the big plays. We hope that you're enjoying this show. Hit subscribe, send it to a mate. We'll see you same time next week. Oh, sorry, after the game 4, which is Thursday, I believe. We'll be on straight after it, and we'll be breaking it down. Cheers.
Everybody knows Nick Dacos dominates the MCG, but did you know his brother Josh had the ball on a string against the Lions in 2025? AFL stats are everywhere, but the stats that actually matter, those are harder to find. StatMate breaks down every player by ground, teammate and opponent, so you see what others miss. Disposals, goals, fantasy points, build it the way you want, plus hot stats served up fresh every round. Download StatMate for free today, your best mate for AFL stats.